So we've said that literacy is important, and we said that there's lots of people that have a problem. If anyone's going to deal with the problem, they have to know where those people are so they can allocate resources to where they are and offer their service delivery where they are. We've done a series of products that begin with this one. It's identifying the neighborhoods that are relatively disadvantaged in terms of their literacy skill. This is the city of Regina. In this case, the green areas have the lowest numbers of people with low skill, the red the highest. And you can see there's lots of different color as you move from neighborhood to neighborhood. The need is largest in the red and dark orange areas of the city. So literacy problems are spatially distributed and affect the quality of life in different neighborhoods profoundly. We've also done a series of report cards that amount to an economic analysis for each reasonably sized community in Canada. Of the 328 metropolitan areas, this one is Regina. They are rated A on their report card for the economic demand for literacy. They rank 51st out of 328, so they're really high up in the ranking. They have about 46 million points of literacy that they could put to economic use. The average skill of a worker in Regina is 302, so it's 27 points up into level 3 where we need to have people. And they're using 70% of the available supply, which is a high utilization rate, 4% higher than the national average. So they're making good use of this economic asset. On the downside, it means there's not much room for growth. Pushing that above 70% is going to be difficult. And so not much benefit could be had from trying to do that. In terms of costs, eliminating occupational skill shortages of the literacy variety would take $46 million investment in the city of Regina, about $993 per learner, which is lower than the learners in many other metropolitan areas in Canada. This investment would yield increases in earnings of some $263 million. So you're talking about a 5-fold return on investment, the first and every subsequent year, and would put something like $5,700 in each worker's pocket in additional earnings. A handsome bonus to be had from the literacy investment. And finally, if one found a way in Regina, even though demand is high, to increase it even further and use up the literacy skill surpluses that are evident there, you could get another $128 million in earnings wrung out of the current economy. A second example, Saskatoon. You can see the river running through the middle of this. Needy neighborhoods in terms of literacy are the red and orange ones, the green ones, and the darker the green ones are the ones that have the highest skill levels and hence the least need in terms of literacy upgrading. And so the message is the same in Saskatoon. You would have to invest your resources in those most needy neighborhoods. The report card for Saskatoon rates it B, so it's not quite as good as Regina. It rates 93rd out of 328. Draws on a smaller pool of literacy, 54 million points, with an average employed workers score of 302, so it's in the sweet spot of level 3, and it's using 70% of the available supply, in large part because the Saskatchewan economy in the period that we're looking at this was hot, and there were lots of jobs to be had. If we turn to the cost and benefit side, the cost of raising skills in Saskatoon to the required level would be $58 million, a big investment, about $1,000 per worker, but that would generate $310 million more in earnings every year, put about $5,800 more in each worker's pocket. A nice bonus. And finally, the literacy skill shortage surpluses, if we found a way to use those by increasing demand, we could generate another $156 million of earnings an increase in the tax base that would generate about another $50 million in tax revenue for the Saskatchewan government. So now, by way of summary for the whole presentation, we've shown that literacy is fundamentally important to our social and economic progress. Literacy levels affect the rate at which we can adopt technological change and realize productivity growth, and so affect the growth in GDP or wealth per capita. They're the thing that makes us richer over time. Literacy is also the thing that creates most of the social inequality in the things that Canadians value the most: employment, wealth, health, and social engagement. And so if we're interested in reducing inequality in those things that we value so highly, an investment in literacy is a very, very good investment. We also could benefit from investments in literacy because they would make our tax investments go further, get more for the money, or we could reduce our taxes and still get the same amount if we were serving a more literate population. And finally, for the specific case of Aboriginal peoples in the province of Saskatchewan, raising literacy levels would give those populations access to a tool that would allow them to engage economically and socially in a much fairer and full way, and at the same time give them a tool that would allow them to protect their language and culture by using the tools of the dominant culture. So literacy is important. It will become important more so in the future, and it's time to act. Thank you. Want to know more about literacy? Go to any of the following websites shown on the screen: the website for Data Angel, the website for Statistics Canada, the website for Bow Valley College, or the website for the Canadian Council on Learning. You'll find out about how important literacy is to Canada's future economic competitiveness and our collective well-being.